Hi everybody, it's Kendrick from Providence, and I will be doing another reading, okay? So we're gonna do general, collective, just what the energy is. I don't really have time to do each individual sign, and I'm not gonna try. Okay, so let's go ahead and lay these, or shuffle these. So let's see what's going on. I got some new cards. They are not tarot or oracle cards, but I love them. They are called critical thinking cards. And they give you what your bias might be or what your fallacy might be. They're sort of like philosophical, ideas. I guess that's the same thing. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and put these back together. And I'm just gonna lay some out. I don't really know, beeping. Okay, bam. General energy, Page of Pentacles. So we're making something count, or we're making something matter. The Page of Pentacles is obviously a youthful type of energy, a youthful type of spirit. So it's reconnecting with your sense of value, or you're understanding your value, or you're getting validation through some form of, knowledge, right? Or maybe you are feeling validation through your talents or your gifts or your skills, that type of thing. That's what the Page of Pentacles wants to remind you of, right? It wants to remind you of value, okay? And this is also kind of how we uplift youthful energy, okay, into being creative, right? So we are taking the initiative, right? Just like the pages do. Something is proving its value, that type of thing, okay? To you, to them, maybe someone now sees the value in an experience, or in a project, or maybe it took some convincing, because if the pages are talking about announcements, maybe it's like the convincing of something, right? Or maybe it's, I don't know. Also, the Page of Pentacles says take pride in the work that you do, and it's saying how you should, just because there is value there, okay? Basically, that's what the Page of Pentacles is telling me. And don't question that, right? Because if the pages are all ruled by Saturn, which is an Earth-like energy, okay? And if we're thinking of Aquarius, or we're thinking of Libra, where Saturn is exalted, you're thinking of ideas, you know what I mean? Or we're relating to the idea that something could be real, or that something could exist, or that we could achieve something, Sometimes this could be like a certification, right? This could be passing a test, okay? Something like that with the Page of Pentacles. Maybe some of you are wanting to get your driver's license. This card has nothing to do with driving, but it does have something to do with wanting to pursue some level of higher certification or education, okay? It's being interested in something that you're good at and wanting to make something more of that, right? Okay. Ooh, but somebody's worried because we have the Nine of Swords here, And this could also just be like money situations too, The Page of Pentacles could, just be inexperienced, okay, in something. And it could be inexperienced in money. It could be inexperienced in investing in something. It could be inexperienced in showing your work, like showing your talent or your skill or your gift or whatever it is. You could be that could be being put to the test in some kind of way, and maybe some of you are worried about that, of having to show proof of the work, or having to, I don't know, just introduce some sort of service. It could even be that. You could be nervous about embarking on providing a new service of sorts, or the potential of that, right? Because the Page of Pentacles is definitely someone who has a lot of potential. So you shouldn't be too worried, Nine of Swords, that it's not something that you have never done before, or you don't know, you don't have all of the answers, or you don't have all of the information. Don't let that stop you from moving forward with something, whatever it is that has to do with the Page of Pentacles, because sometimes our worry is causing us to make up these, inaccurate or false scenarios in our head that are leading us down the wrong path of thinking, okay? And that prevents us from feeling, I don't know, at ease, right? Or it's just negative self-talk, perhaps, being too critical of what it is that you don't even know, Also that. Let's look at what's crossing that, the Ten of Pentacles, okay? So it's like things might actually not be as bad as you thought that they would be, or things actually might just work out, well for you, right? Because the Nine of Swords is talking about the worry and the agony, okay, of not knowing what is to come, right? Worrying about completing something, or worrying about talking about something, or worry about corresponding, through communication channels, that type of thing. But the moment that you forget about all of the worry, okay, then you can focus on the goal. So that's what this is talking about, not letting the worry sort of take over, or don't get caught up in the worry, because that is going to get in the way of you achieving the goal, right? And it's interesting because the Page of Pentacles is here, and it's someone who is definitely capable, right? And then we have the Ten of Pentacles, which is basically the completion of a process. It is Virgo. It is is it Mars in Virgo? What is this? Oh, Sun in Virgo, I believe. Mercury in Virgo, one of these. So I'm gonna say the Ten of Pentacles is definitely Mercury in Virgo. And this is talking about finances, money, is something achievable? Is something, I don't know, going to be successful? The answer is yes. If you're worried if something's going to be successful, or if you're worried or not if it's going to be okay. The Ten of Pentacles says it is going to be okay. It's just going to take some focus, okay? Some optimism, a little bit of determination, okay? And some discipline as well, because it is a 10, all right? And you don't need to, you're already thinking that there are going to be things going wrong. So, you don't want to create obstacles for yourself. You know what I mean? Don't get in the way of your progress. That's basically what this is saying, with this being, the Ten of Pentacles here. All right. Let's look at the past. All right, so the past is talking about the Six of Pentacles, which is the Moon and Taurus. The Moon is definitely talking about vulnerability or satisfaction, right? So you're needing to satisfy some vulnerability, or you're needing to balance out some sense of vulnerability, right? And it could be financial vulnerability that you might have been dealing with in the past. Maybe you were worried about money because this 6 is associated with the Lovers, which is definitely Mercury. You know what I mean? And even though this is Taurus and the moon, which is talking about insecurity, okay, there might have been some insecurity, but things always work out. Things always balance out. You know what I mean? That's kind of like what this is saying, okay? So you're definitely in a better place than you were, so you don't need to think like you used to. That's also what this 9 of Swords with the 10 of Pentacles crossing it is saying to me here in this moment. There's a lot of pentacle energy. All right, the Judgment card is here. This is fire. This is a card of atonement. It's a card of forgiveness. It's a card of balancing out your karma. It could be balancing out some kind of debt, balancing out some kind of karmic debt, just because Judgment card is Pluto, plutocrats, plutocracy, that type of thing, dealing with money, or it could be dealing with, you feeling liberated from something that was controlling you at some point, but now you're being liberated from something, or you're being set free from some type of worry, okay? With the Judgment card being here in the Sun position, and this is reducing to a 2, so it's talking about being able to see past some sort of limitation, like look past the limitations, because the limitations that you might be placing upon yourself might be the very reasons why you aren't able to feel, justified, okay, in maybe taking action or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because it's Pluto, and sometimes, Pluto's like a dwarf planet. Sometimes Pluto may feel like it's not enough, right? It is Judgment, it is 20, that does reduce to a 2. It is related to the 2nd house of Taurus. So it's like, stop thinking that you're not enough, Understand your power, that type of thing, because the Judgment card is definitely Pluto, I don't know. It's sort of like the challenges that we face in life, the opposition that we face in life. It kind of makes life more interesting. It's like we're offset and then we rebalance, because the Judgment card is also referencing the Justice card. So it is talking about a sense of spiritual balance, right? Or balancing out your insecurities or your vulnerabilities, and accepting the truth about something, right? And not being afraid to accept the truth about something, which you already know because it's Pluto. So it's just really acceptance, yeah. And it's almost like, I don't know, Pluto is the esoteric ruler of Pisces, so it's saying compassion, loving yourself unconditionally in the times where you are your hardest critic, with the 9 of Swords being here. And then we've got Mercury in Virgo here with the 10 of Pentacles, and the 10s are associated with the Sun, and it's also associated with Jupiter in some sense because that's a 10, and then it's like the aces, which is yourself, so you're being very critical of yourself, and there are some things that are subconsciously happening underneath the surface, which is why the Judgment card is here. So it's almost kind of like it's there, but it's hiding, and you need to just allow yourself to hear yourself say something, or allow yourself to feel vulnerable, Or, you know, a lot of the times the Judgment card or Pluto is crossing a boundary. That's why Pluto is the esoteric ruler of Pisces, because we're talking about the dissolving of a boundary. But sometimes getting past that threshold or past that boundary is kind of scary sometimes, or we're a little reluctant, right? Which is kind of like High Priestess energy. And then it's like the Justice card, a little reluctance there. And then the Judgment card as well too, just because that's talking about I don't know, not fearing the inevitable, right? Taking it on, right? That type of thing, whatever it is, or just not fearing what is also I don't know, what am I trying to say? Something, don't fear what comes naturally, you know, right? So if it's something that comes naturally to you, why do you fear it? Why do you block it? Why do you get in the way of it? Like that type of thing, you know? It's talking about self-liberation, with the Judgment card being in the Sun position. Anyway, let's look at the Moon. 5 of Wands, you know, this is when you are conscious and you are aware of tensions, and it's in the Moon, so it's kind of like it's stuff that is, you know, maybe underneath the surface or on the other side of something. You know, a lot of times with the 5 of Wands, it's you needing to focus on yourself and what you've got going on, okay? And not let anyone pull you into any drama that, you know, is childish, okay, or immature. You know, playing games, like that type of thing. But the 5 of Wands is Saturn as well. It's Saturn in Leo. So something being restricted in some kind of way. So don't allow yourself to be emotionally affected by other people's attempts to make you feel less than or to humble you in some kind of way. It's weird that people actually have an interest in doing that when they could literally just be focusing on themselves, which is why the 5 of Wands is talking about focusing on yourself, your own sense of value, right? Taurus, Hierophant, ruling the 5s, Roman numeral V, value, okay? You know, even when people are trying to bully or throw their weight around, or when people are trying to make a conscious effort, because this is conscious, Hierophant, Taurus, 5, effort, Wands, Leo, okay? It's almost like they're doing it to themselves. They think they're doing it to you, but they're doing it to themselves, right? So that's how you can kind of find a little bit of solace. You can be like, oh, it's not me actually, it's them. And if you know, focus on yourself, ask yourself those questions that you need to know from you, right? Or just like, you know, pretend that you are not right. Let's see it as being 50-50, you know? Things are two-sided, right? Things are dual-sided. So if you focus on how you can be better, you know, then you're not going to be concentrated, focused, or interested in how you can make someone else worse. It's one or the other. You know what I mean? You can't have it. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You know what I mean? With this 5 of Wands being here. So it's kind of like whoever wants to be the authority, because Leo is talking about authority, but Saturn is also talking about authority. um, it's saying no one is the authority because everyone comes from a different background. Everyone has different abilities, and that's what this Five of Wands is talking about, you know? So sometimes you just need to focus on what your own abilities are, and then you won't be trying to disable someone else. Okay, let's look at what's going on here in the blockages. Ah, the Justice card. Okay, right after the Five of Wands, I'm living for that. And then we have the Six of Pentacles here with the balance that's there. And then the Justice card also with the balance. You know, have you ever looked at a scale? You know, I'm not talking about like a flat scale where you stand on or where you weigh food or anything like that. But if you look at a dual-sided scale when it's actually balanced, or even if it's moving, you know what I mean? It's really, it's a lot more, I don't know, it's very alluring. You almost can't take your eyes off of it, especially if it's like completely just there and you're like, wow, look at that simple yet beautifully elegant machine. And it's really, it's like just the simplest of things. Anyway, so that's what this is saying, you know, making things more simple for yourself, you know, in terms of not worrying about things that you can't control or that are not necessarily, I don't know, your concern, you know? It's very much about minding the business that pays you, okay? The Justice card is in the blockage position, okay? So, or the challenge. The challenge is, I guess, I don't know, you know, the challenge or the blockage or what is going on is that someone isn't being fair or something isn't fair. You know what I mean? And the Justice card being actually in the Saturn position is actually saying that, you know, things are going to be made right? Or things that are off are going to be put back on. And it's just so funny because I was talking about things being on balance, right, at 0, and then when they're off. It's like not as interesting when it's off. It is, but it's like asymmetrical. You know what I mean? Because then we're getting into more like, ooh, Aquarius kind of stuff, right? So there's a little bit of asymmetry here, and we're going to balance things out and get things more symmetrical, okay? With the Justice card being here. Yeah. And then the Six of Pentacles, because the Justice cards, the scale is off. But then in the Six of Pentacles, when the coins are coming in, it's balanced again. You know what I mean? So your energy is going to be restored, or you're going to be feeling a sense of restoration in some kind of way. Yeah, and you know, sometimes the Justice card is saying that you're not realizing or you're not conscious of the energies that are taking place in other realms or on the other side that are working in your favor or working out for you. You know, things are going to work out for you. You don't think that things are going to work out for you, but they are going to actually work out for you. Okay, let's look at what's going on. Oh, the Fool. I was just talking about 0, you know? And the Fool is also Uranus. Uranus is the esoteric ruler of Libra, but Uranus is the exoteric ruler of Aquarius. So, you know, the Fool is not subscribing to any beliefs, any conventional beliefs. The Fool is the higher octane of Mercury. So the Fool definitely believes in energy and things that we cannot necessarily see. The Fool to me is also talking about, like I said, energy, electricity, that type of thing. It's also talking about optimism and having faith in the unknown, and that's also what the Justice card is kind of saying as well, which is kind of why I can understand Uranus being the esoteric ruler of Libra. And when that scale is at 0, then it definitely feels balanced. So it's reiterating the fact that things are going to be balanced out again, because we have the Justice card here in the most, past position, which is just kind of like how your past is affecting you and creating blockages for you now in your future, right? And that's just because, maybe you felt like things were unfair in some kind of way. Maybe, sometimes the Justice card is, testing you, right? Because you put things on the scale to test them out or to measure those things. So sometimes when you're measuring, you're testing or you're being critical or you're judging something. The Judgment card is here in the Sun position. Then we have the card with the 6 of Pentacles and the scale balancing out, we're at 0. And then we have the 0 here right after that coming in, the Fool, White is here, so it's talking about a purification process in some kind of way. The Fool is also talking about how you need to clear the air, or clear out your headspace, clear out your environment, right? Depollute, if that's even a word, because Uranus, if that's the atmosphere, and Mercury is how we measure things in nature. Uranus is the higher octane of Mercury. Uranus is talking about having clean air. And sometimes we have to purify our own environment. So maybe some of you are having to do that. You're having to restore and reset your energy. And maybe, it takes work to do that. It doesn't just happen. That's why Saturn is the ruler of Aquarius. You think therapy is easy? Okay, 7 of Pentacles in the Venus position. This is talking about, oh my God. Yeah, this is talking about, yes, I'm going to actually have to start this reading over. This is going to be the end of part 1, and we're going to go to part 2 later, okay?